Now, I don't post a lot of stuff on this channel, I've been very busy, but I want to post this at the very least. This is not an indie game whatsoever, but it is a game from Square Enix that is from a small studio that's making something that is pretty amazing, and I just got done the demo. It goes without saying that I am a hardcore RPG fan, but it goes without saying that I am also an adventure fan, a good games fan. So games like The Legend of Zelda, for one, which is what I think this game was inspired from, and Alundra, which takes a lot from that, if you've ever heard of Alundra. The comparisons between that game, Alundra, and this game, which is The Adventures of Elliot, is just way too similar, and it had me smiling from ear to ear as long as I've been playing that demo, which, man, it was just a good time. To be honest, I haven't felt this kind of joy playing a AAA video game coming from a AAA game company in a long time. And I just want to spread how good this game is. I want people to see it, I want people to know that it exists, and I want people to play it. As far as I know about the availability of this demo is that it's only on the Switch 2's online shop. It is accurate to say that I am a little upset at the fact that this demo is only on the Nintendo Switch 2's online eShop. As far as I know, it should be in every eShop, and I'll take another look to see if it's on the PlayStation, if it's in Steam, if it's in GOG. I'll do that real quick, give me a second. Okay, it just came back, and so far, things are looking good. It's going to be available on all platforms, but the demo is apparently exclusively on the Nintendo Switch 2, so a little upsetting on that because not a lot of people have the Nintendo Switch 2, but at least it's verified that it's not going to be exclusive on the Nintendo Switch. So let's talk about the game, The Adventure of Elliot, the Millennium Tale. Again, these naming conventions that they have over on the team that made Octopath Traveler, they really suck at this. It's a good thing they know how to make a game because this is so much fun. If you've ever played The Legend of Zelda, it does feel something like that, but if you've played something like Alundra, a game that is very familiar in my hands when it comes to this game, the comparisons are all there, you're probably going to have a good time if you're a fan of games like that. And seeing how this is just the demo, we can only know so much of what the story and what the lore is. This takes place in a world called Philadelphia,
in West Philadelphia,
where the human race is basically locked inside a castle town because there's a huge barrier protecting them from all types of beasties. It would appear the princess has erected this barrier to keep those monsters out, and you as the adventurer are basically an explorer. You're going out there for the sake of humankind. Now, since this is a demo, like I said before, they only give you so much of the story. They really wanted to focus on the gameplay, and I would say it's very refined here, even if you compare it to the likes of Alundra. You're given a multitude of weapons in the beginning: sword, shield, bomb, and bow and arrows, kind of familiar with what you get from a Legend of Zelda like, and Elliot has the ability to charge up any weapon, for the exception of the bomb. You can charge up the sword for a blade beam, he can charge up the bow and arrow for a multi-shot, and you can also find a hook and chain somewhere in a dungeon within the game, allowing you to charge it up, spinning it over your head doing consecutive damage, and throwing it when you release the charge, bringing an enemy over to you. There's also a technique with the shield where you can do a precise block. Yes, precision blocking is a thing, and if you succeed in doing a precise block, you do not use the block gauge. This blocking gauge will allow you to block pretty much any attack that isn't too hard, but be careful, strong hits and multi-attacks will turn that gauge into pudding, so you want to do those precise blocking as much as possible. You'll also get very familiar with the game's mechanics in terms of items and other accessories, and items will seem a bit familiar here. Comparing this to the glass jar from The Legend of Zelda, you do get vials. These vials are filled with certain potions, whether they are for defense, attack, or health. You will fill these up at item shops, and they do not allow you to have multiple jars. You get 2 vials in the game because you have to find extra vials. They're really going that Zelda-like here, and you can only fill up those vials with one thing at a time, so it could be any kind of potion of your choice. In the demo, you only have 2, and I'm not sure if there are any more in the demo. However, there are accessories with different effects. The accessory in the item shop gave me more movement speed, but I took more damage as I'm holding that accessory item. So I'm guessing there are a lot of accessories with give and takes here and there. The other system I want to point out is Magicite. Yes, magicite is in the game. However, they are used very differently here. You can equip these magicites that tailor to certain pieces of equipment like sword, shield, bombs, and depending on the equipment they are tailored to, they can give stats or additional abilities. For example, if you use a bomb magicite, you may have bigger range, more damage, or being able to set down an additional bomb. And there are all types of magicite for all types of purposes. You can mix and match, they don't all have to be the same, and they even allow you to switch between sets on the fly. And you're going to need to be able to do all of this because there are monsters out there that are after your neck. In the demo, I can't really say if there was any boss or monster that was too hard to defeat. There was a lot of pattern recognitions with a lot of these bosses, which I picked up on, you know, being an MMO player and such. And while I love the combat in the game, I really do appreciate the fact that they put in dungeons, which give me a little test of my knowledge. And I say this knowing how AAA gaming actually is at this point of time. This game in particular feels like it's from an indie studio, and that's not a bad thing. We see and hear more indie developers making their own studios coming up with these fantastic games that they could do alone or within a small group, coming up with something as fantastic as Balatro, which was done by one person. And you gotta remember that indie studios are working with a small budget with a smaller team. You have to somewhat expect that the game is going to come out good because the game needs to be good for them to succeed. Something tells me that a lot of these indie devs come from the AAA space, right? They were hired to be in the AAA space, but they got fed up or maybe they got laid off and they wanted to create an actual fun game within their vision. And it's weird because this game comes from Square Enix, which is a AAA game company. And yet this is the same company that came out with Octopath Traveler, thought it was going to fail and bomb, but it didn't. It got popular. They made a sequel, and the same thing with Bravely Default. And here we have the Adventures of Elliot looking yet again as something of a small-time project, looking very indie, and it's probably going to succeed. This is kind of a statement where I have to say that indie really is kind of the way to go when you want some sort of quality game. Where AAA studios care about trends and graphics, they really don't know what makes a good game anymore. At the very least, most of them, and in the West. You have games from the East like anything from Software, and the new Ghost of Yotai looks pretty damn good. But when it comes to indie games, they are quality. They are special. They come from the heart, I believe. It definitely comes from the heart. I have interviewed and talked with so many indie developers at this point of time that I have to believe that they really want to make a good game for not just everybody else to play, but what they want to play. And when I look at the Adventures of Elliot, I feel the same thing. I think there are people within this group of people who made Octopath Traveler, who made Bravely Default, that really do care about the quality of their games. And even though it's in a pixelated style, you have 2D characters in a pixelated 3D world, it has its quality. They're not looking at graphics so much as the gameplay. They want people to have fun, to pick up and have fun whenever they want, beat it, come back, or, you know, put it down for a little bit and come back when they want to finish. They have an easy save system where all you have to do is walk through a ring and there it saves right there. They have a very intuitive and understandable UI. The menus aren't in the way. You don't have to go through menus within this RPG. Well, it's an action RPG. The world feels as though that it needs to be explored, that you want to explore this world. There are secrets, well, Legend of Zelda like secrets where there's cracked walls and all you have to do is use a bomb. But then you have your fairy friend, and yes, I did save the fairy friend for last because I have to say this right now, I really do like this fairy. They're called Fae, and they have a bunch of abilities that will help you out. Right now they only have 2 in the demo, but they have some other features equipped within your fairy friend. Fae not only helps you on your journey, but reminds you of your missions and quests, and also tells you when there's a chest is near. She also will help you try to attack monsters doing a little bit of damage. She's equipped with a dash to help Elliot move quickly, and a teleport where she's able to get you out of trouble if there is anything that happens to Orion Dungeon. And the best thing you can do with Faye, by the way, is command her to just go away. Yes, You can command her. You can command her to go in front of you, go behind you, to search other places. You can actually control her, by the way. You can control her and teleport to the spot where she is, and you can tell her to go away. This doesn't stop her from talking, and I'm not really too sure if there's a feature to stop her from talking, but you can put her away if you don't want to see her. All in all, I think The Adventures of Elliot is going to be a fun game when it finally comes out. It's a game that allows me to reminisce on the good times with action combat games, top down obviously, Legend of Zelda style or Alundra style, and just play a game. Something that the indie crowd know very well, but the AAA side of gaming has no idea what a fun game is anymore. A lot of their decisions is brought forth by money, the revenue. Everything that they do is about the revenue. The trends that they copy off of other people, be it any kind of predatory practice whatsoever, is about the money. And whereas I'm looking at some other AAA game that has the same crap over and over again and it looks really great graphically, I look over here at The Adventure of Elliot, not so graphically superior or anything, and it's just a video game. I can appreciate this. I really can. I can appreciate games like this. That's why I love Octopath Traveler. That's why I love both of them. That's why I love Bravely Default. I love what these guys are making. It looks so indie, and I am cheating because it looks so indie. This channel is about indie games, but I have to put this on here. I have to talk about it. I'll come up with a category for these kinds of games, but just know that I'm going to probably be looking at games like this. There's another one on the way called Shinobi, and I'm going to also talk about it on this channel, so get ready for that. But anyway, let me know what you think in the comments down below, and I hope to see you guys in the next video. Oh, and remember, if you liked what you saw today, please like, and if you haven't, subscribe. It's real easy, and you can always change your mind later. Thank you guys very much, and I'll see you next time in another Indie Observer video. Have a good one.